My story in relation to suffering with chronic anxiety started when I started my LLB degree at university. And I suppose the reason why I suffered with anxiety was because of the pressures that are placed upon you when you are a student. And there are good days and bad days, but it never goes away. You just learn to manage it and cope with the anxiety with the years of experience in terms of how to manage it on a daily basis. And sometimes, like when I was going through my university studies, the anxiety would appear out of nowhere and I would have a knot in my stomach and feel really, really anxious for no reason at all. And that, when you're a student, scares you, because when you're at university and you suffer with anxiety, you don't know who to turn to inform them that you're struggling. You feel that if you tell someone, you will be deemed weak and unable to cope. You would feel that you would become inferior of your fellow students. And that puts you in the mindset of you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So when I was at university, I just kept it inside, and you kind of curl up into a shell and you put that outer armour on because you want the world to see that you're fine. And it's amazing what a smile can cover, because in my case, going through university, I was smiling, but inside, that isn't how I felt. I felt a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety about, can I achieve my goals in life? And that had a heavy toll on me throughout my university days, to the point that when I got into the third year of my degree, the anxiety was getting worse because I was coming to the end of my studies. And then in that year, I had some news which hit me hard, in that a very close family member passed away. It hit me hard, it shook me, and I had an empty feeling in my stomach of nothingness and hopelessness, because she was very dear to me, and throughout the rest of that year of my studies, it completely threw me. I was vacant going into most lessons, not really being in a state able to pay attention, and this compounded the levels of anxiety. And it's taken a while for me to be able to feel comfortable about talking about this, because when I've thought about talking about it before, I've had that sense of shame and embarrassment, which I feel is common with people who are going through mental health struggles. be that with anxiety or depression or any other form of mental health struggles, the initial thought is, if I discuss this, how will it be received? Will I be mocked, or will I be taken seriously? Which, living in 21st century Britain, that isn't something that we should feel. And whilst I was suffering with this chronic anxiety through my university studies, I thought, how can I get help in order to be able to manage the anxiety better? That's when I decided to go and see a psychologist, which was a big step for me to take. But when I did see the psychologist, I was given some very sound advice, which has stayed with me to this day, which is to look at your goals as a mountain, and you are stood at the bottom of the mountain. And my first thought was to look at the summit and just race there as quick as you can in order to achieve your goal. But the psychologist told me to break it down into baby steps. And the first goal on the mountain was to reach base camp. Don't shoot for the stars straight away. Break your achievements down into stages throughout student life. And initially, my advice would be to get comfortable in your surroundings, within your environment, and don't feel pressured to make friends straight away in Freshers Week. That will come in time. If you've got a load of assignments that need to be in, set a plan and give yourself enough time to complete each assignment. If you don't plan your time, then that can lead to your anxieties being increased. So take each assignment one at a time, and then once you get to the end of the first year of your exams, make sure in between the end of the first year and the start of the second year that you take time out for you to mentally and emotionally recover, because that is key. And some students can experience burnout, and that's why I think it's imperative that you manage your time, break down the year into stages, and not wanting to rush through it just to get to your goal, which could be anything within your chosen speciality. And then by breaking down how you dealt with the first year, then you can take that into the second year, and then you can take that into the third year. The best piece of advice I can pass on to you is, if you break it down into manageable chunks, when you reach the top of the mountain, which is your final goal, you will feel more a sense of fulfillment and achievement, and it won't be as overwhelming as if you would have just shot straight to the top. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's about managing those ups and downs and breaking them down into segments, because when it does come along, you will enjoy it more if you've taken the time to accomplish each step along the way.